All right, it says I'm live, and I don't know if this is working. It's our first time here. I'd like to thank my buddy Savan for pushing me over to test this out on StreamYard. And if this is working, I just wanted to announce that on Saturday at 10 a.m., we're going to do a full show. We're calling the new program No Fear Live. Many of you have listened to our No Fear podcast episodes. We're going to continue doing those, but we're doing this new live format where I can interact with you. I can answer questions. I may even be able to, I don't know if I can bring you on to the show. I don't know the software well enough yet, but I can interact more effectively. Team will be behind the scenes. If we get some good questions, we're going to answer them. What else? 10 o'clock this Saturday. Try to be there if you're free. It's PDD time, of course. I don't know where in the world you are. I'll stay on a few minutes here and look at. I've got somebody with a unique name. Your parents named you Facebook user, so you say howdy back to you, but it comes up as Facebook user, so that must be a private account. That was a joke. What else did I want to tell you? Oh yeah, on Saturday I'm going to cover this classic fight. This went viral several years ago. It's kind of cool. It's kind of neat, but this is what we're going to go over. Give me a second as I set it up. This classic famous fight. And I'm going to show it from the beginning. I've never seen the beginning of this fight, and I just found it. But check this out. Anyways, when this happened, and let me see, how do I, there we go. When this went viral, I had a lot of people emailing me going, look, boxing works in the street. And they don't realize I fucking love boxing. I've been boxing for decades. I love boxing. And it's amazing how many people still continue to instead of looking at what we're trying to do with neurobiology, with neuroscience, with the startle flinch and ways to try and help make people safer. People are still looking for the gotcha personality. Of course, boxing works, but that guy was a fucking good boxer, and those attackers were really bad attackers, right? So it's we're going to dig into that and some of the neuroscience about that. And we need to remember, if we're truly teaching and practicing self-defense, to not look for anomalies, not look for the unicorn event where we go, oh, look, Blauer was wrong here. All I'm trying to do is make people safer. That's all. And that's all I've done. I'm 62 years old right now. I started teaching when I was 17 years old. And this is all I've done for over 40 years, is try to figure out more effective ways to share self-defense, mindset, and movement. So this is going to be a short one here, guys. I see a bunch of you, logging in and saying hi. We can experiment with this because I've never used this, and apparently it's streaming on 6 channels now, maybe. So that's kind of cool. Grant, all the way from Sydney, Australia. What's up, man? I got your message. Aka from Jersey. What's up, dude? Dana Abbott, how you doing? Yeah, this is cool. It's weird how some of them come in just as Facebook user. That must be on a private form or something like that. To experiment with this, does anybody have a question? Oh my God, hold on a second. Walt, is there a way for me? Hey, buddy. So Walt is an old dear friend, and we're both really old. Can you believe how old we are, buddy? Walt is a dear friend, one of the best martial artists I've ever had the pleasure of training with. Him and his brother have the strongest grips in the world. I remember his brother, Charlie. We were driving somewhere to some seminar at some point, and we're using, where are my Captain and Crushes? It's in the garage. So he's got the Captain and Crush, and Charlie had, Walt, what number did Charlie get up to? Was it a 4 or what number did he get up to? Do you remember? Anyways, I'm making fun because he's doing this stuff. And I'll tell you this, if you've never used the Captain's a Crush, they're the best in the market. I don't get anything for saying that. But I have a very, very strong grip. I've got really good hands and I work my grip, and I would struggle to close a three. Like it was like I was giving birth for a three, so it'd be like, oh, maybe two hands. I could close a two, but it was insane. So it's 3.5 on that. So Charlie could roll a two like it was rolling like dice. And I was making fun one day. We're driving, he's sitting in the back seat, and I said, "Oh, what are you going to do with those grips, Charlie?" And he grabs my trap from the back seat and just squeezes. And I go, "Oh, okay." And I just like tapped out from the back seat because his grip was so insane. Anyways, much love to you, buddy. We got to catch up. What crazy stories? Malt, do you remember that time we're in Montreal and my Jeep broke down and Dan Severn and Joe Lewis got out in the snow and were pushing my car? Imagine if we had had smartphones back then and I could have the late, great Joe Lewis in my car pushing my truck in the snow. What a funny story. Okay. Amazing. Okay. Anyone got a question? This is fun. I might not do any work all day. This is what I have to do today. And I got to read through this, and I've got a bunch of other things, but this is way more fun talking to people around the world. There's subtitles. Grant says their subtitles are cool also. I don't know what the subtitles are. Meaning you can, I don't know so we're going to learn more about this here. Elisa from Austria is going to be working in the background. I'm going to bring her into the studio and say hi. Elisa, I might bring Jenny in too. just to fuck with you guys. Elisa, how do I invite you, or can you pop in here? Do I have to invite you? Anyone got a question? Wow, Rob, all the way from South Africa. How you doing, man? Okay, somebody pop in a question here. Let's test this. And Elisa, I'm going to add you to the stream here. And there, Elisa, you're on. Say hi. Elisa, you're on. You have no audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
There we go. Just made sure that we don't have an echo here. I don't know.
So,
hi, everybody.
So Elisa is an affiliate out of Austria with a long history of security training, martial arts training, and self-defense training. But she's also very, very initiative driven and has really helped out behind the scenes. She's kind of running the Spear Garage Gym account and doing a great job. So she's going to help me out behind the scenes. But she's not just a pretty face. She can kick your ass, and she trains all the time. She had no idea she was going to be on here, so she didn't fix her hair or get a hat on. If I could show you my hair today, you would know why. Check this out, why I'm wearing a hat. Okay. Okay. So
that's why we trained in fear management, that you can do that with your team, right?
It's spontaneous. Okay. Anyone got a question from the audience? We'll let you go prepared. If you can make it on Saturday, do that, because I'm gonna work on. We got an echo there in the background. Lisa, maybe I'm gonna mute you for a sec. I'm gonna do a little rant on that boxing clip. I'm gonna talk about neurobiology, neuroscience, block-based training versus brain-based training, and what that means to you. The big theme is going to be understanding our unconscious bias that's created through our fixation on our favorite moves. And that'll kind of be the theme, because it's so important. We all create this unconscious bias through the repetitive practice, and it's an unintended consequence. So if I just like throwing overhand rights or body shots, or I love a shin kick, or I love double legging people, to get good at something over and over again, you create a relationship with it. And then what that can do, and I'll leave you on this thought, what that can do unintentionally is it skews what you should be doing tactically as far as situational awareness, where you try to look for a way to make your favorite move work. And the hypothetical concept here is really important. If the most important thing for you to do right now is run away from danger, And I know some of us, especially type A personalities, wrestle with that, run away. But if the safest thing for you to do is to create space and disengage, but there's a part of your brain that's saying, take him down, kick him in the leg, punch him here, draw your weapon, whatever it is, that can skew true situational awareness. We need to have part of our surveillance system, our 30,000 foot view of violence isn't the grunt on the ground. It's the eyes in the sky type metaphor where we're going, you know what, pull back here. This is not the time to engage. And this is very, very subtle, and it's not talked about enough in self-defense, but it's more important to understand it when it's mano a mano, because your unconscious bias with your favorite moves has created a dopamine relationship with that move, which can change your functioning situational awareness. So if that sounded nerdy, it was pretty nerdy, but it's super, super cool and super, super important. Before I go, I'm going to read Rob's thing here. I think there's a way to look how cool this is. Rob from South Africa writes, as you know, this is a violent country. I run urban survival training. How do you change the mindset of people that have left, that have it won't happen to them? I screwed up as another comment came in, it jumped in here and it screwed up my reading of that. How do you change the mindset of people that have it, that it won't happen to them attitude? Rob, two things here, and this is going to seem like a truly shameless plug. I'm going to answer it quickly, but I'm going to tell you that I work with a lot of self-defense experts around the world behind the scenes in a completely different program, because the answer is way longer than what I can share right here on this live. At the end of the day, if it's almost like indifference, cognitive dissonance, it'll never happen to me attitude, it's like religions. And you can't talk to people, when they're so fixated on their religion, meaning their idea, oh, it'll never happen to me. We experienced a home invasion in 2010. We don't keep our doors unlocked anymore, even though it's a safe neighborhood, right? So sometimes, you don't wear your seatbelt until you're in a car accident and go through a windshield, and then you always wear your seatbelt. So what happens is, hang on a second, Mike. AC, I'm doing a live. One of my dogs is freaking out. Can you guys hear that really loud? I'll go close that. Hang on one second. Ace, come say hi. Come here. This kind of come here, baby. Come say hi. Come here. Good boy. Come. Hey, no. Hey, don't embarrass me. There's people watching to see if you're well trained or not. Okay, leave. Go outside. Did I cover that well? He does not listen to me. So Rob, I've had this problem for 40 years as well, where I bump into somebody in a bar, in a coffee shop, in a restaurant. They go, oh, you teach self-defense. I was going to defend myself. And then they won't show up for class. They won't train. When you put them on the spot, they go, you know what? I live in a safe neighborhood, or I'm always with my husband or my father or my wife or what have you. My answer to you, if this was a business call, would be stop talking to those people. The only resource that you can't reclaim is time for all of us. And if you're in the business of teaching self-defense, you need to find people that want to learn self-defense. And I know that's not the answer you wanted to hear, but I struggle with that too, because I care so much about people's safety that I'm there going, dude, you got to do this. And they back off. An amazing story that I've shared on other podcasts before was back in I've been teaching self-defense, of course, since the 80s, but we were running these weekend seminars in the 80s back in Montreal, Canada. And these two women signed up, and we only allowed 12 people in the course. So they had signed up, and like, you're committed, a very small student to teacher ratio, 12 people in the class. Saturday morning, and I always check in with everybody on a Friday. Hey, you're coming, see you then. We're starting prompt at 9. It's 9 o'clock. They're not there. 9:05. They're not there. I call the woman. And she's like out of breath. I go, hey, yeah, we're getting ready to start. You know, I told you, like, if you don't show up, you're not getting your money back. I was more polite, but I'm just rushing it for this call. And she goes, yeah, we won't be coming. Now, Walt knows where my school is. He had been to the one in Montreal. It was in an industrial park where you had to get off at the bus. If you didn't have a car, you had to get off at the corner and walk maybe almost a half a mile through an industrial park. And we were in a downstairs in an industrial building. So there was no real big signage, and it wasn't a busy street. And it was the weekend, everything was closed. On the way to my self-defense seminar, they got mugged. These two women got mugged. Can you imagine walking to a self-defense seminar and a guy jumps out from between two buildings with a gun and takes your purse and your jewelry? And they turned around and walked. Now, this is just a little humor here. I'm on the phone. I go, yeah, so listen, we're getting ready to start. Are you guys coming? Where are you? And they go, hey, we're not going to be coming. You can start without us. I go, well, you know, I'm not giving your money back. And she goes, woman says, well, yeah, well, we got mugged on the way there. So we're freaked out and we're going home. And I said to her, you know, in all my years of teaching self-defense, I've heard every excuse. The dog ate my homework, blah, blah, blah. But to tell me that you were mugged and that's why you're not coming, like I said, that's the best excuse I've heard. And then she goes, no, I'm serious. And she goes on to tell me the story. Now, here's my thing, Rob, and everyone else listening here. If you were seriously looking to take a self-defense course, like you were sitting on the fence and then you went, you know what? The world's getting a little fucking crazy. I am going to go take a class. You sign up, you pay, and on the way to the class, you get mugged. Wouldn't you fucking run to the class? Wouldn't that be all the evidence that you need that the world is crazy, that bad shit can happen, and more evidence that you don't know what to look for? Your situational awareness is messed up. Your de-escalation skills are messed up. And I'm not saying that in every situation. I could be here talking. My critical focus is on you on the camera. If a gunman walked into my office right now and stuck a gun in my face on the other side of the desk, what am I going to do? I'm like, oh, fuck. Right? I'm hoping one of my 6 dogs intercepts them. But you guys follow what I'm saying? And those of you who teach self-defense, we need to bring back integrity. We need to bring back authenticity. There's too many systems out there that tell people, they almost imply a guarantee if they train. And that's bullshit. There are trained law enforcement and military professionals that have been captured, kidnapped, and killed. And they were taught situational awareness, and their calling was to go hunt bad guys. And they were compromised. Situational awareness is a conscious cognitive skill. That means that I'm the most situationally aware guy in the world. My phone rings and I go, hold on a second. I am now no longer situationally aware. I'm getting ready to end my protective service detail, and I go like this. 5 more minutes left. I'm not situationally aware. For a nanosecond, I'm giving you cartoony examples. Rob, I hope that helped a little bit there. What I would tell you guys, for those of you who are professionals, hit us up, and we can put the link in here now if you want, and I suppose we should. Jenny, what's my link for our business gig, the business thing, for anyone who wants to look into this? What's that? You're
I'll
talking.
send it on WhatsApp.
Okay, send it to me. Thanks. I'll stick it in here, guys, so that you can check it out. But we've got like Wing Chun guys and Krav Maga guys and MMA people, and of course people from our system, the Spear system, in there. But it's all business. We're not teaching talking self-defense. I did a business course in blah, 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 blah. Hold on a second. Let me get this link for you. I did this. If you go to the link here, hopefully that works. There it is. It should log in. It should pop in. Years ago in Vegas, and I did it. I said, look, the art and science of teaching self-defense is not the same as the art and science of running a self-defense business. And just a little bit more on this rant, because it is the first show, I guess. Accidentally, we were just testing this today for 5 minutes, so it turned into this. When I started in the 80s, I started teaching in 1977. 1980 was when I was professionally teaching. There's a good link there, just training.tonyblauer.com. It'll take you to it. When I started, people told me I wasn't going to make it because I didn't want to do belts. I didn't want to do uniforms. I didn't want to do, we had on our sign, this is way before RBSD, right? Everyone on this call knows what RBSD stands for, right? Reality-based self-defense. Like, I make fun of that name. Sorry if it's a tattoo on your arm, but what other type of self-defense is there? Why would you need to say reality-based self-defense? All self-defense should be based on reality. If you've got to separate it and compartmentalize it, then there's something wrong with what we're doing. But I was told in the 80s I wouldn't make it. I was told by my accountant in the 80s that my business model wasn't scalable. I was told by people in what became RBSD, you'll never make it. Who do you think you are? Bruce Lee, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Mitch, haha, you were there, buddy. Mitch Joel, everybody. Yeah, no rituals, no uniforms, no nonsense on the door. So back in the 80s, the signage said functional self-defense, no rituals, no uniforms, no nonsense. And we just reverse engineered stuff. We were doing, before Fight Club was a thing, we'd get together monthly and kick the living shit out of each other, but we weren't sparring. We were wearing hockey helmets and hockey gloves and baseball shin guards. It was nuts. This is way before high gear was developed. The 80s were my incubator period, where cerebral self-defense became no fear. The makeshift equipment became high gear. And then the sucker punch drill evolved into the spear system, which is the first and only system that's based on the neurobiology of our survival system. And anybody will become safer if they study it. No one here thinks to flinch, and all of you have flinched. Flinching is a non-conscious response to a perceived threat. What was that, right? You don't ever go, I think there's a zombie behind you, flinch. That's coming at your head really fast. Should you flinch? Should you not flinch? So we figured out a way to convert the flinch or weaponize the flinch and make that happen. And everybody, of the hundreds of affiliates that we have all over the world, 99% of them come from other systems, and they recognized what was missing in the recipe for survival was a true scientific approach to scenario-based training, and we rewrote the book on that at the highest level. Working with special operations and SWAT and militaries all over the world. Your scenario training should be realistic, relevant, and rigorous, and it's got to scale appropriately. And your scenario training must be based not on what you believe, but what we see. I'll say that again, not what you believe, but what we see. And what that means is when I create any type of self-defense formula protocol and we test it, I'm always using real violence. I'm always using an event that actually happened. And then we reverse engineer it, and we've got protocols and systems by going, okay, well, what was the primary initiation attack? What was the first pre-contact cue? And we replicate that and educate the brain that way. So this is all brain-based and block-based. And I say this because I would love every single one of you who's a serious martial artist practitioner to experience what we're doing. If you go to that link that my team put up there, the training.tonyblauer.com, is it com? There it is, training.tonyblauer.com. You think I would know that. I would tell you to go there and invest a month or two in our garage gym. Where I teach live every week, and just experience this for a month or two. And I guarantee it'll make you faster. It'll make you tougher. I don't care if you're a black belt and a 100th-degree black belt, or if you're a beginner, because what we're doing is we're exploring and working on the neurobiology of survival and the neuroscience, where we're training like Pavlov's dog. How do we weaponize the startle flinch? And you can't get too good at that, because the most dangerous confrontation for all of us would always be a surprise attack. If I told every one of you on this call, hey, tomorrow, this guy that you accidentally cut off yesterday is going to come to your office at 2:00. He's wearing this, and he's going to stand in front of you and try to fight you. You go, well, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to call the cops. I'll meet him outside. I'll triangulate on him. I'll diffuse it. Because we call this ACP, awareness, consent, and preparation. And I've written a ton of that. If you're not on my newsletter, get on my newsletter. How do people get on my newsletter? Go to my website. You'll get a pop-up on Blauer Spear or BlauerTrainingSystems.com. There's a lot I want to share, gang. I've got to go. I just got a bunch of pings here. I'm good to go for a few more minutes, but I do got to go. This was supposed to be just a 5-minute test to announce Saturday. So I hope you dig this. Look at this. I'm so excited. Eric Farwell, my good friend, who, when I moved to California, we were in a jam. I had my dogs. I had my car. We were leaving Virginia Beach after that horrific event. And Eric stopped everything he was doing, came and picked us up and drove us to our rental. Thank you, buddy. We need to get together. Mitch, what a blast from the past. Ping Fu, I don't know what the hell that means there, but Mitch was one of my original students back when he was. I think you were just an embryo when I started teaching you. That's how. Or is that? I think you were just a cell. What else? Dave Sinopoli, boom, awesome, good to see you. George, one of our affiliates here. Oh wow, we got somebody from India. This is pretty cool. See, Elise, I told you this live shit was fun.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, this is exciting. John, thanks for all your support on LinkedIn. Charles Wallace is on here. I just did a podcast with him. I think our best talk offline, our most fun talk was after the podcast, Charles, when we were talking about your dad. That was fantastic. And so good to see you on that. If you haven't checked it out, go on LinkedIn and find our podcast. It recently posted. Okay, just scanning to see if I missed any questions. I can't believe, Walt, you popped on here. So good to see you. I don't know what to do. I guess I'm going to end the broadcast. Alan, how you doing, man? Fieldcraft. I got to get back to, if you guys aren't following Mike Glover and Fieldcraft, what a great mission they have. And here's what we're going to do also. This is going to be so cool. I have a list of people that we're going to invite to come on live. So some pretty famous martial artists, self-defense people we'll bring in eventually. It's going to be called No Fear Live. And because the premise on this is my decades of research into fear and fear management is this, that everything we do in life runs through a conscious or unconscious fear filter. The most dangerous part of that is the unconscious fear filter, where you're rationalizing why you're going to do something or you're not going to do something. The conscious fear filter is a little bit okay, because you can look at somebody and go, I'm not doing that, I'm scared right now. And then it's out there, but it's the unconscious one that's more dangerous. So how do we improve our self-awareness? Because self-awareness is that superpower. If we improve our self-awareness, then we have better access to critical thinking. And the combination of self-awareness and critical thinking improves our situational awareness. We can now look around and go, shit, that's a pre-contact cue in business, in a relationship, or in violence. And thank you, Walt. I appreciate you saying that. Your check's in the mail. I'll send you $5 for that testimonial. Thank you. But in all seriousness, in all my years of analyzing violence, I noticed one common thread. And it's this: the people who manage their fear manage to fight. The people who manage their fear manage to fight. And it didn't matter if they had any skill or not. In 1985, was it Inside Karate magazine? There was a quote in 1985, Inside Karate, and it was, I said that there are more people who defend themselves every day through sheer will and indignation than there ever will be people who are effectively trained in success and get attacked and successfully defend themselves. I fucked it up a little bit there, but what it means is right now somebody's getting attacked who's not a martial artist and they're fighting back. And right now somebody's getting attacked and they're not fighting back and they're not a martial artist. And I looked at all of these incidents, and the common thread wasn't, oh, it was an arm bar. Oh, the thumb was on the third metacarpal. That move always worked. It wasn't the type of punch. It wasn't physical fitness. It was this mental fitness. It was this decision to fight, this indignation. And if we can help people tap into that, we make them safer. And that's been my focus. And why you see the fuck fear sign in the background. It's not me because I got a potty mouth and I like to swear. But I do like to fucking swear. But fuck fear is an acronym for face it, understand it, control it, know it. KNOW, no fear. When we get to know fear, we get to manage our fear, right? The great Customato, one of the greatest boxing coaches of all time, the guy who turned Tyson into that boxing phenom. He has a great quote where he said, hey, fire can warm you and cook your food, but it can also burn you and burn your house down. So it's our relationship with the fire. It's our relationship with the fear. So that's what the No Fear podcast is about. And whoever I talk to is going to, and all of you on this call have dealt with fear your whole life. And it may not be fear of violence because of the way you were raised, but maybe you can't say I love you or I'm sorry, or maybe you can't get out of a shitty job or a shitty relationship, right? Because of fear. Or maybe you're afraid of public speaking. That's my favorite. Number one fear in the world is public speaking. Not getting dragged to a secondary crime scene, tortured and murdered. It's not on the list. Public speaking, I'm like, what the fuck? So anyways, you can tell I'm still fired up about this shit. I'm going to go because I got a meeting at 12:30. That's in 30 minutes of my time. And I got this shit to do for today. And this was a lot of fun. And rock and roll. Spread the word. Let your friends know about this. Let's grow this thing together. Peace out. Be safe. So good to see some of you that I haven't seen in so long. And I guess we should get some sort of Elisa and Jenny. We should get a No Fear, a Blauer tactical when people have suggestions or questions that we can prepare in advance, or recommendations for guests and things like that. So looking forward. I'll see a bunch of you on Saturday, and peace out.